Yo, good morning. Freedom marchers, freedom family, freedom lovers, and freedom fighters. I was about to say freedom farters. And by all means, fart freely. Yeah, that was corny. Anyway, how y'all doing this morning? On my way to do the last leg of my, overtraining workout for the day. I usually do about 2 or 3 a week. And yeah, this is going to be the third one for this week. Well, the second one actually. Friday I didn't really overtrain. So yesterday and today I'm overtraining, just to boost my VO2 max and to increase my endurance. All that shit, all that good shit. Improve my resting heart rate. Because why not? Anyway, I thought I'd come on here real quick, do a quick live stream, and talk about freedom. I want to talk about freedom this morning and what freedom really is, because there are a lot of misconceptions about freedom. Freedom, number one, you probably heard this plenty of times, is not free. And it's not. Freedom is not free. And you have to fight like hell to achieve it if you don't have it. If you are living under government rulership, dictatorship, it doesn't matter, right? A patriarchy, a matriarchy, whatever you want to call it, a totalitarianism, whatever form of government you want to speak of, once they have a hold, once they have snatched your freedom away, and once you are born without your freedom, it is the most costly thing to achieve in this world. Freedom is the most costly thing in the world. There's nothing more expensive than freedom, number one. And I think most people understand that. But here's the thing about it. Once you achieve freedom, once you've worked so hard, once you've bled, sweated, and all that shit to get where you want it to be. Hold on, I think it might be a little loud with these windows down. Once you have achieved that freedom, that's where the misconceptions come in, right? Because people think that what they're fighting for when they're fighting for freedom is bliss, is, paradise, is, the dream, right? The dream come true. And that is where the misconception comes in, because freedom is not blissful. Freedom is not paradise, right? Freedom is not any of those things. Freedom is uncomfortable. Freedom is dangerous. Freedom is, freedom is something that everyone wants, and what the most evil, tyrannical people want to take from you. So you're always fighting to maintain that freedom. Even if, because my idea of freedom is ultimate freedom, right? If I had it my way, I would be living somewhere like Tahiti amongst the indigenous folks that live on huts up on top of the water, right? Because that's how they live. They live at the coast. They have these huts that float on the water, and all they do is fish and eat fish, and they chill and relax. And you would think, hell, that's a perfect ideal freedom, right? But the only reason that they're able to do that is because no one really wants to disrupt that, right? No one wants to disrupt that. And no one really wants to take that from those people, because there's nothing to gain from trying to take anything from those people, because they don't really have the resources that all these superpowers want. But at the end of the day, even that level of freedom, even that paradise, right? Even that ideal paradise is dangerous because, again, you still have to get up. You still have to get your own food. You still got to deal with weather. You still got to deal with nature. You still have to deal with other tribes. You still have to deal with things that most people don't even think about because we are so comfortable in our slavery. We're so comfortable in our slavery. We see those people. We think, oh, look how great those people live. But they don't think about the hurricanes, the earthquakes, because Tahiti is on a ring of fire. They don't think about any of that. They don't think about, there's a lot of things you have to consider when living as an indigenous person. And that would be my ideal freedom. But I would understand, like, look, I still have to go out and get my own food. I still have to provide for myself. I still have to find out where to use the toilet, and where is it safe to use the toilet, what's sanitary, right? What are we doing here, right? Freedom is always going to be, if you're truly free, you're the only one looking out for yourself, right? No one is looking out for you like you think the government is looking out for you now. You see, we have the illusion of security because we got cops rolling around, we got hospitals and all this shit that we think we need the government for when we really don't. So we live under the illusion that, well, we're secure and we're safe thanks to the government. But really, what the government is doing is always putting us in a position where when the time comes for us to be prepared to fight, when the time comes for us to truly fight for what very little freedom we have left, we won't be prepared for it. We'll be soft, untrained, out of shape. We won't know what to do with ourselves. If we find ourselves in a position of shit to hit the fan situation, for whatever the cause may be, whether it be an invasion, whether it be a weather event, whether it be a solar flare, whether it be an EMP, it doesn't a pandemic, right? We won't know what to do because we so stuck, like, oh shit. And guess what? When all that shit breaks down, communications break down, emergency systems break down, government can't do anything for you, right? Because it might even not be anything that the government created, right? And the government might try to do something about it to protect their own interests, but they'll lose out because nature might overcome what the government has done. And guess what? At that point in time, when the government can't do anything for us or do anything to us, right? If they can't do anything for us, they can't do anything to us. And the only way they can, again, we go back to this. The only reason the government can do anything for you is because they take from someone else. They'll take from you to help someone else, right? So the moment the government can't do anything for you and you are left up to your own devices and your own will and you have to be self-sufficient, you have to survive on your own, guess what? You have achieved freedom, my friend. Freedom was thrust upon you and you didn't even see it coming. Yeah, that's right. What's good, Jay with open eyes? BLT was good. Hut living is so peaceful. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's so peaceful. I mean, and that's a level of freedom I think would be the most comfortable, right? Because, it's fun to fish. It's fun to live on the water, right? It's fun to have a simple life. But you always have to be prepared for those hard times, right? You always have to be prepared for it. What if something happens to the fish? Especially down there in the Pacific South, whatever the fuck, by Tahiti and all those areas, Australia and New Zealand and all those areas. I mean, you got all the BPAs and all the bullshit in the water, that might contaminate your fish. Like, there's always something, right? Anyway, once those things happen, once that situation falls upon you and the government can't do anything for you and it can't do anything to you and it can't dictate your life. And you didn't even mean for it to happen. It just happened because, hey, shit happens. So you have achieved freedom and you don't even understand it. That is freedom. That is freedom. And that is what someone like myself actually wants to happen, right? But I want it to be something deliberate and well thought out and methodical. Sure, yeah, it has to happen phase by phase, because if it happens too abruptly, so many people will perish. You know what I'm saying? And you don't really want that. You want, okay, well, let's break the system down methodically. You know, ensure the resources are freed up for people to go and enjoy and do what they want. Once they stake that claim on that resource, on that land with the resources, and hey, you can stake a claim on it, but you got to protect it. You got to defend it yourself. The bottom line is, whether it happens abruptly or methodically, it's going to be the most uncomfortable thing in your life. It's going to be the most outwardly and overtly uncomfortable thing and dangerous thing in your life. Freedom is dangerous. Freedom is hardship, right? But these hardships and this danger and this uncomfortableness can be it can be mitigated by your own actions. And that's the key to it, right? That's what makes it so rewarding. So if you are if you have achieved freedom and you're in an uncomfortable situation where you might have to go out in the woods, you might have to build your own shelter, you might have to find a water source, you have to hunt your own food, but you got to compete with predators, natural predators, and all that type of shit. So you're always looking over your back. That shit's uncomfortable, right? Think about it. When you go to the woods to do hunting, and you got your little permit to do the hunting, and you go out in the wildlands, imagine that. Imagine going hunting in the wild, but you need a permit for it. Imagine that. So it's like hunting and camping, right, without a permit, right? In some cases. So in other cases, you achieve freedom. You got all these cities built up. You got these houses. It's like doing that, right? It's like living in your home. It's like, but you're not doing things like going to work at Burger King. You're not going to do shit like that, right? Because Burger King, once you achieve freedom from everyone, you're not necessarily going to have a Burger King. You're not going to have a job to go to like that, right? Your job is going to be to provide a service for the people within your community that they need, not something that the media tells you need, right? All these fast food joints, all these grocery stores with all this processed bullshit. No, you're going to have to learn how to be resourceful and provide a service that other people want. And that can be very uncomfortable, because it might be very difficult to find someone that needs your services. J. Wood 4 says the problem is because of these tribes living within the context of our modern world, they have to worry about contamination. Exactly. That's why I was talking about the contamination from the BPAs in the water and all that shit, contaminating the fish. I mean, that's the thing there. And God forbid they have possessed natural resources that some superpower wants. Exactly. I mean, and that's, you always got to worry about that. I agree. We have to methodically transition phase to phase so that people know how to live. Exactly. Yeah. You need a permission slip to be from Big Daddy Government. Exactly. It's crazy. Kangar J say it's crazy that we need a fishing and hunting license. It's retarded. It's retarded. Freedom is, so you think you're free when you go hunting and fishing, right? Because they tell you, oh, we don't want to overfish. We don't want to overhunt. We only want to hunt during certain seasons so that the animals can mate uninterrupted. And that just makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense not to overfish, right? And the only reason we overfish is because the people that live in areas where these fish aren't available have a demand for it, and so you have to overfish to provide fish to the people that don't even live in the area. Okay, if it as it should be, no, you hunt and fish and do those things in your local area. If you stick to what is available in your area, then you're not going to have overfishing. You're not going to have overhunting. You know, you're going to have what's available to you in your area, and everybody's going to have what's available to them in their area, and it won't be any endangerment. The only Let me tell y'all something: industrialization and fast travel, internet, all these things. Think about when extinctions began, right? The extinctions began in the endangered species at the hands of human beings, because there's always been extinctions in animal endangered species. There's nothing you can do about that, right? At some point they can't evolve to live in the world they live in. So yes, at some point animals are going to die out, species are going to die out, but the only reason that we have endangerments and extinctions at the hands of human beings is because of demand from people who don't even need the shit. Ivory from elephants and rhinos, and oh, I want to go 30,000 miles across the earth and hunt a rhino. No, hunt a motherfucking. If you live in goddamn the UK, hunt some goddamn antelope or whatever the fuck they got out there. If you live in the United States, why you gotta hunt it? Why you gotta go to hunt rhinos when you could just hunt some buffalo in America? Why are we doing all this? Why are we? And then why do we need caviar? And why? Eat some goddamn salmon roe. If you want some fish eggs, go hunting. Go to your local fishing stream. Go to your local stream, your local lake. Hunt you some goddamn. Find you some goddamn eggs in your own goddamn place. And that's the problem. The problem is all this over, processing, all this mining and all this bullshit that we're doing is because of demand from people that should not have a demand for it. Diamonds and lithium and all this shit is because of a high demand that is only possible because of industrialization and because of technological advancement. Technological advancement is the only reason we have all these problems that we have, like, right, with so-called draining of resources and all this bullshit they tell you. Oh, okay, well, how about if you really want to change the world for the better, shit, source shit from your own area. And if you ain't got shit in your area, you guess what? If you have no resources, if you live in a goddamn desert where you gotta scrape and you gotta dig and you gotta, if you live in an area like a fucking hot ass desert where you can barely find water, and if you didn't have a house and with air conditioning, you would die. That's a fucking problem. Why are you living in deserts? Why are you living in barren wastelands that can't provide you anything? This is the reason we're fucked. This is the reason. It's because we want so much from so little. When we don't need it. We don't need all this bullshit. We don't need, right? Why I have two cell phones, one for work and one for regular. But why do I need this shit? Why do I? You know what I'm saying? Like it really does make me think, right? Yeah, I'm able to, with my cell phone, I'm able to talk to y'all and chop it up and say this and say that. But do I really need to do that? Do I really need to come on here and talk to y'all about this shit? I mean, yeah, I can give you a little perspective and I can open your minds up a little bit. I can give you a little bit of a different angle to look at shit. But do I really need this to do that? Right? Can I just pre-record on a camcorder and then upload it at the computer at the house? Why do I need to take these bullshit devices with me everywhere? Right? Or if I want to do a live stream, I can go to the house and just do a live stream from the computer. Why do I need to take this bullshit with me everywhere I go? Like, why did I need to come on here on a drive and tell you guys about freedom and what it is and the misconceptions, right? Because I have to meet people where they're at, of course. I have to meet y'all where y'all at. I gotta give. I can't even talk about some of the general freedom. Like, goddamn, I can't even. So it told me told me that my phone overheated. That's what it told me, right? I've had my phone up. I've uh I've done live streams in hotter conditions. So now all of a sudden, every time I do a live stream now, it goes hot. My live was disrupted yesterday because it said my phone was overheating. Usually, when my phone actually overheats, it takes about 3 to 4 minutes for me to be able to get back on here. But it only took about 30 seconds. Whatever, man. Y'all get what I'm saying. So, here's my plan, y'all. I will soon be changing my cell phone provider, and I'm going to give up one of my phones. Right? I'm gonna keep my work phone as a regular ass modern cell phone, just for work purposes, because I have to use apps and shit for work. But my regular phone is going to be a regular ass flip phone. It won't be a smartphone. I'm getting a regular ass dumb flip phone. That's gonna be my next phone. And when I don't need a work phone anymore, I am going to give that up. Well, yeah, I'm going to be done with that. So I'm going to only have one phone, and yeah, it's going to be a flip phone. And if I need anything for the internet, I will do it on a laptop, and it'll be a laptop, and I might even get a tablet. But that's it. I'm going to give up these devices. So that's one way to achieve a level of freedom that you can do for yourself right now. And once that happens, I can focus on what I really want to do because I'll have more time. I won't be scrolling and browsing the internet and all this bullshit. I'll be able to focus on doing the shit that I really need to do to achieve as much freedom as I can in the world we're living in right now. Now, please, you put these phones on, right? That laid my ass on the center of the field. Let's figure out how we can put these phones on and connect without those. Because the people you really need to fuck with, you should not need a phone to do something, right? You should be able to come together with the people that you want to fuck with and build with without a cell phone. You need the less less than able to see what you're doing. So that's another aspect to it, is being able to live your life without worrying about whether or not they're listening to you. And every time you talk about something and you go to Google, it's popping up on your Google. Yeah, so that's my challenge too, to everyone. I wasn't Google. So as soon as I'm done with work and I don't need a work phone anymore, I'm done. I'm done with these cell phones. So just so y'all curious, but in case y'all curious about what I'm doing, I'm setting up for my little last leg of my workout for the day. So I got my jump ropes over there. I got my little foam ball. I'm about to set up the cones and get to doing some drills. So anyway, let me know what y'all think in the comment section. What do you guys think freedom is? And is freedom comfortable? Is it free? And is it worth everything you have to sacrifice to give it up, to get it? Is it worth everything you have to sacrifice to get it? Anyway, much love.